Good morning to one and all present here. Myself, I am A. Vijayakumar, working as the Assistant Professor in the Department of Computer Science and Application in the School of Arts and Science, AV Campus, under the Vijayakumar Mission Research Foundation, Chennai. Before going to start into my video lecture, let me thank our Director Madam Dr. R. Shanmugavalli for continuous encouragement for the preparation of this e-content to the betterment of the student community. I am also thankful to our beloved HOD Dr. Kavita for continuous help to prepare this e-content. I am also thankful to my department colleagues for the preparation of this e-content. The last but not the least, my dear students who are always encouraged me to prepare this type of video content in this lockdown period. Let me get into the topic, that is software development life cycle, shortly known as SDLC. Before know about the SDLC, let me start with the famous quote given by the person Yogi Berra. The quote is, "You have got to be very careful if you don't know where you are going, because you might not get there." Let me start with this quote. Now the SDLC is otherwise called as the waterfall model. Why this is called as the waterfall model? Because the water is flown from the top to bottom, one by one, the stage by stage. Likewise, this SDLC has totally 6 stages. So after giving input to the first stage, we are getting the output that will be supplied as the input to the second stage. Then the second stage gives the output. Then the second stage output will become the input to the third stage. Likewise, it will be going. The first stage, or for the first phases in the waterfall model, is the requirement analysis. The second stage is system design. Then the next is implementation. Then the next is testing. Then the deployment, and finally we have the maintenance. Let me see one by one. The first stage is requirements gathering and analysis. That is, before going to develop any software, we should gather all the information, whether that one is useful to the customers, the software is developed based on the customer requirements or customer need, whether all the technical feasibilities are available. So that one we are going to study in the feasibility studies. That is also comes in this first stage. What are these feasibility studies? Actually, the feasibility study is whether the system is feasible with the money or the amount, whether that is feasible with the technology that are available. After developing the software, this can be useful to the customers or not. So this is about the requirements. Then we should collect all the requirements. The collected requirements should be properly documented. The documented is called as the software requirement specification, or that is the SRS. The output of this first stage is the SRS. Then this will be supplied to the input to the next stage, that is the system design. So the prepared SRS document should be properly designed. Here the system design normally helps in specifying what are all the hardware requirements and software requirements, and that can be helps in defining the overall system architecture. What is this meaning of overall system architecture? The overall design of the system is called the system architecture. So this can be also includes the architectural design, the various design notations. The design notations are data flow diagram, shortly known as DFD, or that may be the use case diagram, or sequential diagram, context diagram, activity diagrams, and so on. So this output will be supplied as the input to the next stage, that is the implementation. What it means of the implementation? Converting the previous stage output, that is the designing, into the machine executable forms, that is in the forms of the programs. So here we should tell each and every small programs. So this programs is called as the units. So in the next phase, all the units to be collected or integrated into a single unit, and the particular thing will be properly tested in the later on stages. So here the developed units can be tested with the help of the unit testing. Then the next stage is integration and testing. So the previous stage, the machines will be treated as individual unit by unit. Now in this stage, all the units will be collected as one unit, that is called integration. And here we have to test the entire thing as the one particular case or on particular models. So that's why it is called the integrated testing. So here you have to perform some post integration process also. What is this post integration? This is tested for if you have any faults or the systems can be any failures, like that we should test the thing. That is the integration testing. So in this testing we should also aware of the two important concepts. One is the verification, another one is the validation. What is the meaning of verification? Actually, if we are giving some inputs, now we are aware that we can get this output. So we should check whether we are getting that output or not. That is called verification. Then what is the validation? Before giving the input, we should give the right input. That is called validation. Shortly known as the verification. Are we building the product right? So after building the system, we should check the product is right or not. That is called verification. But in the validation, are we building the right product? Let me tell one example. For example, in our date of birth, we have the three fields. One is date, month and year. So we have DD, MM and 4Ys. The DD has the values normally from 00 to 99, it has the values. But actually for the date, what are the values we should give? From 01 to 31, that is the proper or valid DD. The case of 2 digits. For the month, we have the 2 digits. So the 2 digits maybe have the values from 00 to 99. But for the month, if you are means the values start from 01, 02 to 12th month. That is the valid month. So that is called validation. So in the verification, once I am telling the verification, are we building the product right? But in validation, are we building the right product? That is the main difference between the verification and validation. Then talk about the testing. We have to mainly test about the two testing. One is white box testing, another one is the black box testing. What is this black box testing? What is this white box testing? So in this black box testing, we don't know the internal functions, internal functionalities. We don't know anything. We know to give some inputs when we get some outputs. That's the thing only. And we are going to check whether we are getting the output or not. What are the internal function or internals, what all the things are going on, we don't know. So it's like a black box. What is the content inside, we don't know. That is about the black box testing. Then white box, we should know all the internal function, how the functions are working, how the programs are going, how the flows it should be. We should know all the particular internal function. Otherwise, the white box is called as the black box testing. And this is about the two testing. So all the testing methodologies purely based on these two things. One which comes in the black box, and another one comes in the white box testing. Then the next important thing about the testing, we should perform two types of testing. One is alpha testing, another one is the beta testing. What is the alpha testing? The developers itself is develop the softwares. Is it right? So the developing stage itself, he tests whether all the functions and everything is properly working or not. The developer itself, he will test. That is called alpha testing. That is within the concern or within the industry itself, the developers can automatically does. Then what is the beta testing? So the alpha testing, after the alpha testing, the product is ready. So before launching entirely, what they are doing means they supply the particular product or software to only a limited audience. Before launching the entire thing as the fresh, they launch to the small groups. So they can test for 1 or 2 months. After testing or after the thing, the feedbacks will be collected. Based on the feedback, is there anything to modify? Like that they can check. So after the modification only, the original launching will be take place. That is called beta testing. So in this beta testing, actually it not the developers, some of the users, not for the whole, some limited person they will supply. After they are using, they will get the feedback and is there any modification or not is needed or not. That is about the alpha testing and beta testing. Then the next stage is the deployment of the system. What is the meaning of deploying? Once all the testing is over, that is the product is perfect, then the product is deployed to be either in the customer environment or released into the market. Whether the product is how that the thing is launching to the market. That is called deployment. So here the deployment can be nowadays, it can be popular, it can be famous in most of the area, whether the product is, the software is deployed on the particular PC, that is the personal computer, or this can be published, or this can be deployed on the web. Internet means globally it can be available, all the things. So like that, where it's going to be deployed, that thing we should aware. Then the next or final stage is the maintenance. So after deployment, still also there may be some issues which may comes from the customer side. So what we have to do, we have to fix all the queries or issues raised by the customers, and we should develop the patches or the supporting documents to be released to the customers. That is also otherwise called as the user manuals. That thing also we can given, or some of the supports we can give in the maintenance stage. And in this maintenance also it can enhance about the better development. That is the next version. Suppose we are releasing one product, its next version maybe with some advanced features, so that can also be released in the maintenance stage also. And some of the famous examples for the maintenance are, there may be a user manuals, or it may be customer care or customer support systems. So those are the things are available. Students, really keep it in your mind. Nowadays in the world, the 80% of jobs available in this maintenance stage only, because we have totally 6 stages. What are the things? Analysis, then we have the design, then we have the implementation, testing, deployment, and maintenance. In this maintenance stage itself, we have total 80% of jobs. Nowadays we can aware of the BPOs, the business process outsourcing. They are not the original employers of the particular company or the software. They are just support engineers. So that is, they can get the maintenance in this particular task. And what are all the strengths or what are all the advantages in the waterfall model? It is very easy to understand, because it is doing step by step only, and it can provide the structure to the inexperienced staff. What is the meaning of inexperienced? He is not having any experience for the new staff. So it will give step by step. First we should gather the requirements, then we should design, then we have to implement, test, like that will give step by steps only. And then the milestones are well understood, what we have to reach to the customers, that thing we can normally have the thing. So these are all the advantages. Then good for the management control. The management people know they are only planning, they can take care of the staff, that is the employees, those who are involved in the development, and tracking what is the status of the particular product. So all the things, this can be very good for using the waterfall thing. Then works well when quality is more important than cost or schedule. If you talk about the cost of the particular product or scheduling within the time limit only, we can do instead of the thing, the quality is very important. That type of people, this will be very much useful. Let me see some of the disadvantages or deficiencies in the waterfall model. So here the main drawback is all the requirements must not be known upfront, in front or in the starting. Initially we don't know the exact 100% customer requirement. That is impossible nowadays. So that is one of the main drawback. And the second disadvantage, so here if you know the customer requirements at the front only, the waterfall model will survive, it will be useful. The next disadvantage is can give the false impression of progress. So normally this waterfall model gives only the false data only, because this is not as the development, as the unique or as the rapid, it can't do the thing. It can take many days, because you can have all the requirements step by step only it will do. Still we don't know about the current status of the project. So that's why it will always give the false impression of the progress, and it will give only a little opportunity for the customers to what the thing, to take the preview of the system. It may be also getting late also by doing this waterfall model. Then finally we can see when to use this waterfall model well. So there are some criteria as given when this can be very useful. That is, the requirements are very well known in the beginning itself, then it will be useful. The product definition is stable. That is, nowadays nothing is stable. because day by day or second by second it will be automatically changing. It is not stable or static, it is always dynamic. So when it will be useful, the product definition is stable, so it is also impossible. Technology is understood at the beginning itself, that is also very big, because technology is also time by time or second by second it is automatically changing. And if you are developing a new version of an existing product, this can be very much useful, because already one is there, one product is there, we are developing the next version of the existing product, so there won't be any much changes needed. So that type of case, this waterfall model can be very much useful. And finally, porting on existing products to your new platform. Suppose we are going to launch some existing package or product into the new platforms. In the type of cases, this can be also very much useful. So that's we come to the end of this video lectures. Once again I am telling, so this is the waterfall model, this diagram. If you are aware of all these 6 phases or all these 6 stages well, automatically all our software engineering papers which deals only these topics, please keep it in mind, my dear students, all our 5 units contains only this waterfall model. If we see on our syllabus, the requirement analysis, all the requirements gathering analysis comes in the first unit. That is the software development model, all the things it comes. Then the designing, the architectural design, the use case diagram, DFD, everything should comes in the designing part, that is in the unit 2. Then how we are going to implement all these things, how the design will be converted into the machine executable format, that is the implementation, that will comes in the unit 3. Then the testing. So in this implementation itself, we can see some configuration management, that topics also should comes. Then if you talk about the testing, testing is the very important role in the software industry. Now most of them getting job in this area only. Then most of them, they are not the real degree holders to know about the softwares or concerns. So most of them, they are doing only the black box testing. They don't know any technologies. They want to know, they are giving by the softwares and they can give by the some inputs, and they should check whether they are getting the desired outputs or not. So some ultimate softwares are given and they should give some inputs, and they should check only that they are getting the product right. That is, they are doing only the verification process. So most probably the black box testing only they are doing. So that one deals in the unit 4, and the deployment, that is releasing the product. And talking about the maintenance, all the 5 units of the software engineering has deals these things. So that's all about today's software development life cycle model. This is very, very important. Once again, I am thanking all the peoples. I am thankful to my department colleagues who are all encouraged me for developing this particular or to posting or creating this video. And I am thankful to our HOD Dr. Kavita, who always motivating us to do some things or do prepare some videos, lectures like this. She is always motivating. And especially to our director madam, she is always insisting us to, sir, do something, at least give some notes, prepare something, some videos, and given to the student. She is always think about the students, community peoples only. So I am thanking to one and all for giving me this opportunity. Thank you once again.